Part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking Exam creates problems because often candidates don't know exactly what is required of them. The question is, do you need to compare the images before you start answering the questions? I recently received this comment. Hi Toby, I've been watching your videos about Part 2 and I haven't noticed any mention of comparing the pictures of my choice. I'm telling you this because my tutor in the course always asks us to start with a comparison and then answer the questions. So my question is, were there any changes in the exam since you recorded these videos? Or is my tutor wrong? I am really confused because my classmates and I really struggle to finish the whole task in 1 minute. I imagine. My best so far is getting to answer the second question. Thanks for your help in advance. Now, this is a super common problem, and Toby is here to help. Hooray! Yes. So, let me give you the short answer first to save you some time. Should you compare your two pictures in Part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking Exam? Yes. Yes, you should. I mean, obviously you should. The word compare is literally a part of the script that the examiners are given for your speaking exam. I'd like you to compare two of the pictures and say, but in practice, what does that actually mean? Should you explicitly dedicate some of your speaking time to comparing the images? Again, technically yes, but do you need to think about it? No, you don't. And actually, you shouldn't think about it. Here's why. In Part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking Exam, you will be given 3 pictures. It is your job to talk about 2 of the pictures for 1 minute and answer 2 questions about both of the pictures. Now, this is where things get a little bit messy and ambiguous. The C1 Advanced Handbook for Teachers says this.
In Part 2, candidates are given the opportunity to speak for 1 minute without interruption. Each candidate is asked to compare 2 colour photographs from a choice of 3 and to make a further comment about them in response to a task that is read out by the interlocutor. A prompt is given to the candidates in the form of a direct question. This is written above the photographs. Candidates are expected to point out similarities and differences between the photographs and then move on to deal with the question, answering it with reference to both photographs.
And as a result, this is obviously what many teachers advise their students to do. And this is completely understandable. But in this case, the handbook is wrong. Blasphemy! Toby, Cambridge can never be wrong! No, seriously, the handbook is wrong. Look at the text again from the C1 Advanced Handbook for Teachers and tell me if you can see something not quite right. The problem is, Part 2 of the C1 Advanced Speaking Exam does not require students to answer the question. It asks candidates to deal with 2 questions. Questions with an S, plural. This mistake exists because Cambridge have copied their description of Part 2 from the B2 First Handbook into the Part 2 section in the C1 Advanced Handbook. It's literally word for word. They're identical. Even though Part 2 in B2 First and Part 2 in C1 Advanced are different from each other. So, yeah, thanks, Cambridge. Look, the fact is, you do not have time to compare the pictures first and then answer 2 questions about each picture in 1 minute. No. Additionally, comparing and contrasting 2 pictures is not going to allow you to do what Cambridge really want you to do, and that is speculate. Let's imagine for a C1 Advanced Speaking Exam, you have got these 2 images that you have decided to talk about, and that your 2 questions are, what do you think the relationship might be between the people? And why might it be important for these people to receive their presents? If these are your pictures and these are your questions, how should you start? Well, maybe you decide to start your speaking exam by giving a comparison. You could say something like, In the first picture, there are two people exchanging gifts on Christmas Day, while in the second picture, the people are giving gifts on Valentine's Day. I mean, you could do that, and you are making a comparison, but all you're doing is describing. And describing only allows you to really use the present simple and the present continuous, which is really going to help you pass your exam. Your B1 exam! Look, Cambridge explicitly state that they do not want you to simply describe images. They say in their handbook this.
Candidates will always be asked to speculate about something which relates to the focus of the visuals. They will never be asked to merely describe the visuals.
Yet often, this is exactly what candidates do. And it's just so sad. In fact, Cambridge even give us an example answer for half of a C1 Advanced question. This is basically a full C1 Advanced Part 2 answer, but only for one image instead of two.
These people look like they are on an expedition to the North Pole, or they might be climbing a mountain together. This could be a personal challenge, a kind of dream for them, or they might be doing it because they have work to do during the trip, like doing some research into animal life or the natural world. So they could be friends, or they could be colleagues. Either way, their relationship must be very strong. Their lives could depend on how well they cooperate with each other if there is an emergency.
I notice three things. Number one, there is no description. There is only speculation. Number two, the candidate immediately started answering the questions. And number three, there is no comparison here. Now, of course, you may reply to me by saying, Toby, of course there's no comparison. This example is only about one image. How could there possibly be a comparison? And yes, you're right, but how long did it take me to read this sample answer? It took me about 30 seconds, and I was reading. If you, in your exam, are trying to do this spontaneously, it's probably going to take you a little bit longer. Seriously, you're just not going to have time to compare the images first and then do this for one picture and then do it again for another picture. Not in 1 minute. And if you don't get to all the questions, then you're going to lose marks because you're not effectively completing the task. But in addition to that, you don't need to think about comparing, because by answering the same questions about both images, you are already comparing. You're doing it without even thinking about it. Let's see what this looks like in practice. Let's go back to our two images of people giving each other gifts. I will give you a model answer, and then we'll take a look at it. Let's go. The first picture shows two children exchanging a present. The two girls look like they are of a similar age, and they look similar too, so they could be sisters. There is a Christmas tree in the background, and the presents are wrapped in Christmas decoration, so it must be Christmas. It could be really important to the girls because maybe they have wanted the gift for a long time, and so they may feel really excited. In the second picture, there is what looks to be a couple, so I think they may be boyfriend and girlfriend. The present is in the shape of a heart, so it might be a Valentine's Day present, or it may simply be a romantic gift or gesture. This gift may be important for the woman because they might have just been arguing and the gift is a way to make up. Or the man could be showing his appreciation and love for his partner. And again, you may be saying, but Toby, where's the comparison? I need a bloody comparison. And I would say, calm down, because the comparison is already there because I'm answering the same questions about two different images. But if you're really, really worried, if you simply cannot let this go, this issue of needing to compare, then we can fix it by adding one expression. Just before you talk about your second picture, you can say, on the other hand. Yeah, just, if you're really worried, just do that. And with that, we are finished. If you liked the video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below. My name is Toby, and this was Smash English.